If you were already the obvious choice for your next promotion, how would you be showing up differently? Not working harder, not proving more, just operating like it was already decided. In this episode, we are talking about the identity shift that high performing women have to make if they want to stop hoping to be chosen and start being the obvious choice. Because the next level is not unlocked by effort, it is unlocked by how you see yourself. So if you're ready to stop auditioning for roles you already qualified for, this one's for you. Ready? Let's dive in. Welcome to Career Growth for Working Women. This show is for women who are done waiting to be noticed and ready to be compensated for the value they already bring. I'm Shannon, a promotion and compensation coach, and I help women position themselves for real advancement, not by working harder, but by showing their value more strategically using what I call the 5% method. If you're ready for clarity, confidence, and career growth that actually pays off, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. I want you to picture something for a second. Imagine you already knew your next promotion was happening. Not in a delusional way, not in a fake confidence way, but in a grounded, certain way. Imagine you knew leadership saw your value clearly. You knew you were positioned correctly. You knew the decision was not a matter of if, but when. How would you show up differently tomorrow? Would you over-explain as much? Would you volunteer for everything? Would you second guess your opinions before sharing them? Probably not. You would speak a little bit more directly. You would choose your energy more carefully. You would think longer term. You would stop trying to impress and start trying to influence. That difference right there is identity. And most high-performing women never consciously shift it. They stay in audition mode far longer than they need to. They keep proving, they keep preparing, they keep waiting for someone to validate that they are ready. But here is the hard truth. At the next level, no one is looking for the person who's trying the hardest. They are looking for the person who already feels like the role. And feeling like the role has very little to do with competence. It has everything to do with self-concept. If you still see yourself as someone earning her seat, you will act like it. If you see yourself as someone shaping the room, you will act like it. Your behavior follows your identity. This is why working harder eventually stops working. Because effort without identity shift keeps you operating from the same level, just more exhausted. A lot of women want the promotion, but are still internally negotiating whether they deserve it. They want the raise, but they still feel slightly apologetic asking for it. They want more authority, but still soften every directive. That tension is not about skill. It's about self-perception. And here is what is powerful. You do not wait for identity to change after the promotion. Identity shifts before the promotion. The women who accelerate are not delusional. They are aligned. They have decided who they are becoming before the title catches up. And that decision changes everything. It changes how you enter meetings. It changes how you speak about your work. It changes what you tolerate. It changes how much you explain yourself. It even changes what you volunteer for. Because when you see yourself as at leadership level, you protect your energy differently. You think in terms of impact, not activity. You stop asking, how can I help? And start asking, where's my leadership most valuable? That is a completely different lens. And I know this can feel a little uncomfortable, especially if you were raised to be humble, especially if you were rewarded for being agreeable, especially if you were taught that confidence in women can be misinterpreted. But shrinking does not make you strategic, and waiting does not make you chosen. Clarity does. There's a quiet shift that happens when a woman stops hoping someone notices her readiness and starts operating as if her value is already established. She stops overperforming. She becomes precise. She stops trying to be indispensable. She becomes directional. She stops trying to be liked by everyone, and she becomes respected by the right people. That's not arrogance. That's alignment. And here's the part that matters most. If you're still operating from the identity of the capable contributor, you will keep being rewarded with more contribution. If you shift into identity of leadership, your behavior will start reflecting leadership before anyone gives you the title. And leadership notices patterns, not potential, but patterns. So if you want something different, the question is not what should you do more of. The question is, who do you need to become? Not in a fake way, not in a personality transplant way, but in a clarity way. What version of you is already capable of that next level? What would she stop tolerating? What would she stop volunteering for? What would she speak up about? What would she delegate? What would she no longer over-explain? That is the work. And here's the relief. You do not need permission to start. You don't need a title to shift your identity. You do not need unanimous approval. You decide who you're becoming, and then you let your behavior catch up. When you stop auditioning and start embodying, things move differently. Conversations shift, energy shifts, opportunities shift, not because you're louder, but because you're clearer. And clarity is powerful. So as we wrap up, I want you to sit with this question. Are you still hoping to be chosen? Or are you ready to become the obvious choice? This is not about ego. It's about ownership. And when you take ownership of your value, the next level becomes a positioning decision, not a confidence crisis. Let that settle for a second. And I'll see you next time. If today's episode sparked something for you, a question, an idea, or a realization, don't ignore it. I offer promotion strategy calls where we walk through your current role, your goals, and how to position you for your next promotion or raise without burning out or overworking. You can book that call using the link in the description. And if this episode helped you, sharing it or leaving a quick review makes a bigger difference than you know. Until next time, keep showing your value clearly. You've earned it.